The city was alive. Tall buildings cast long shadows over bustling streets, neon signs flickered in the humid night, and car horns blared as impatient drivers navigated through endless traffic. On the sidewalks, people moved with purpose, some headed to work, others to clubs, and some simply trying to survive the chaos of modern life. But in the midst of it all, there was one woman who commanded attention without even trying. Adriana. She didn't walk. She glided, like a queen moving through her kingdom. Every step she took in her red stiletto heels echoed confidence. Her dark skin, radiant and flawless, caught the city lights, making her look almost unreal. Her figure, sculpted to perfection, moved in perfect rhythm with the wind. Men turned to stare, their conversations faltering, while women eyed her with admiration and, sometimes, quiet jealousy. Adriana lived for these moments. She basked in the attention, the way eyes followed her, as if she were royalty. To her, beauty wasn't just something she had, it was her power, her identity, her everything. And she had worked tirelessly to make sure she remained untouchable. Tonight, she was attending an exclusive fashion event at the Hilton Sky Lounge, the kind of event where only the elite walked through the doors. She had been invited as a VIP guest, not just because she was one of the country's most sought-after models, but because she was Adriana, the woman who set beauty standards, the woman everyone wanted to be. As she entered the venue, she was met with the familiar sound of camera shutters. The paparazzi swarmed like bees to honey, their flashes lighting up her face. "Adriana! Over here! Adriana, who are you wearing tonight? Adriana, just one more picture." She smiled effortlessly, tilting her chin just slightly. She knew her angles better than anyone. Her dress, a silky emerald green gown that clung to her curves, shimmered under the lights. She was perfection. Inside, the air was thick with wealth, luxury perfumes, expensive champagne, and the sound of shallow laughter. The room was filled with models, designers, influencers, and business tycoons, all pretending to care about art and fashion when, really, they were here to be seen. Adriana made her rounds, exchanging air kisses and fake compliments. "Darling, you look divine!" A socialite purred. "You never age," a designer gushed. "How do you keep your skin so perfect?" another influencer asked. Adriana only smiled, as if her beauty was effortless, as if she hadn't spent hours upon hours in skincare treatments, strict dieting, and following a skincare routine so intense that most people would call it obsessive. But it still wasn't enough. She could feel it. There were always newer, younger models entering the scene. Girls barely out of their teens, with baby-smooth skin, high cheekbones, and tiny waists, ready to take her place. No matter how much she maintained herself, time was always lurking in the shadows, waiting to steal her beauty away. She wouldn't let that happen. She couldn't. "Adriana!" A familiar voice pulled her out of her thoughts. She turned to see Nana, her best friend since childhood, weaving through the crowd toward her. Unlike Adriana, Nana had never cared for the spotlight. She was effortlessly beautiful, but dressed modestly in a simple but elegant black dress. She was the kind of woman who was comfortable in her own skin, a concept Adriana never quite understood. "You look stunning as always," Nana said, giving her a hug. "Of course I do," Adriana teased. "Wouldn't be me if I didn't." Nana rolled her eyes but smiled. "How are you holding up? You've been everywhere lately. Do you ever rest?" "Rest?" "Nana, beauty doesn't rest. The moment I stop taking care of myself is the moment someone else takes my place." "You say that like beauty is a competition." Adriana laughed, sipping her champagne. "Isn't it?" Nana sighed. "Adriana, you're already one of the most beautiful women in the industry. Why do you act like you're still chasing something?" Adriana didn't answer, because the truth was she was chasing something. Perfection. And perfection wasn't a destination. It was a constant race, an endless climb toward a peak that didn't exist. As the night continued, Adriana mingled with celebrities, designers, and photographers. But her mind was elsewhere. She kept hearing whispers, conversations that piqued her curiosity. "Did you hear about the new beauty cream? Apparently, it's not even on the market yet, but the results are insane. I heard it makes you look unreal and beautiful." Adriana's ears perked up. A new beauty product? Something better? Something that could keep her on top? She needed to know more. Just as she was about to ask, someone placed a hand on her shoulder. She turned, meeting the gaze of Zara, a rising model known for her exotic beauty. Zara smiled, but there was something in her eyes, something knowing. You're interested, aren't you? Zara said, her voice silky smooth. Interested in what? Adriana feigned ignorance. Don't play coy, Adriana. I saw the way you listened. Zara leaned in, her lips almost brushing Adriana's ear. I know where you can get it. The cream. The one that makes you perfect. Adriana's heart skipped a beat. Where? Zara only smiled. Okay, I will tell you. There is a beauty stall downtown. You can go there and check it out. A woman sells all kinds of cream, so I believe she would help you out. And just like that, the seed was planted. As Adriana left the event that night, she looked at her reflection in the tinted window of her private car. She was stunning, yes? But could she be more? Could she be unmatched, untouchable, immortal in beauty? She smiled. By this time tomorrow, she would find out. The next day, while at her apartment, she picked up her phone and scrolled through her social media. Thousands of likes, comments filled with admiration. But mixed in, she saw something that made her grip the phone tighter. New faces, younger models, prettier models, competition. A message popped up from Nana just at the right time. Whatever you're thinking, don't. Beauty isn't forever, Adriana. You have to accept that. Adriana rolled her eyes and tossed her phone aside. Maybe beauty wasn't forever for everyone else. But for her, she refused to let it fade as she was obsessed with it. The next morning, she was out early as Zara had told her the last time they saw each other, following the vague directions. The streets of downtown Lagos were loud and crowded, but she kept going deeper, past the upscale boutiques and flashy salons, until she found herself in a quiet, shadowed alley. There, tucked between old buildings, was a small shop with no name. The glass window was dusty, but inside, a warm, golden glow flickered. Adriana hesitated for a moment, then stepped in. The scent of exotic oils and incense wrapped around her. Shelves lined with glass bottles filled with shimmering liquids reflected the dim candlelight. Behind the counter stood an old woman, her skin dark as midnight, her silver hair wrapped neatly in a scarf. The woman's eyes lifted slowly to meet Adriana's. She smiled, a smile that felt like it saw everything. You've come for the golden glow elixir, the woman said, her voice like silk over steel. Adriana's breath caught. How did you? The woman chuckled. I know beauty when I see it, and I know when someone is afraid of losing it, and that's the look you have on you right now. Adriana straightened. I'm not afraid of anything. The woman nodded, reaching beneath the counter and pulling out a small golden jar. It shimmered like sunlight trapped in glass. This will give you what you seek, the woman said. But beauty has a cost. Adriana's fingers hovered over the jar. What kind of cost? The woman's smile deepened. Some prices are not meant to be spoken, only paid, but all I could tell you is be cautious to not overdo it, know when to stop. A flicker of hesitation passed through Adriana, but the moment she touched the jar, a strange warmth spread through her fingertips. She exhaled slowly. How much? The woman's eyes darkened. For you, the first one is free. Adriana's lips curled into a smirk. Nothing truly great ever came free. But if this cream could make her untouchable, then whatever the price was, she would pay it. She turned and walked out, the golden jar clutched tightly in her hand. As the woman looked through her window, I hope she doesn't come back, the woman thought. The transformation was about to begin. That night, Adriana stood in front of her bathroom mirror, the golden jar resting in her palm. The city lights from her penthouse window bathed the room in a soft glow, but nothing shone as brightly as the cream when she unscrewed the lid. Inside, the substance was impossibly smooth, its golden hue shifting in the light like liquid sunlight. It smelled rich, like honey and something ancient, something she couldn't quite place. Her ego and obsession didn't let her think twice about what she was about to do. The moment the cream touched her skin, a cold rush ran through her body, followed by a warmth that sank deep into her pores. Adriana gasped, gripping the counter for support. When she looked up, she nearly gasped again. Her reflection was unreal. Her skin gleamed like polished bronze, not a single blemish in sight. Her cheekbones looked sharper, her lips fuller, her eyes brighter. It was as if a sculptor had carved her into perfection. She turned her head slowly, admiring every angle. This was it. She reached for her phone, snapped a picture, and posted it instantly. Within minutes, the likes flooded in. What's your secret? You look like a goddess. Drop the skincare routine, sis? Adriana grinned. By morning, she had gained 20,000 new followers. By the end of the week, brands were calling. Luxury designers, beauty companies, TV producers, everyone wanted a piece of her. The world was hers. Yet, it wasn't enough. The next night, she applied the cream again, then again and again. By the 5th day, she was using it every morning and night. The old woman's voice once again echoed in her mind. Beauty has a cost. But Adriana ignored it out of her obsession to be the best and the prettiest. If perfection was a price, she was willing to pay it. The fame, the money, and all that she got just by making herself more prettier go into her head, but she never minded, until it all came to pass after months and months of pure perfection. The change was subtle at first. Adriana woke up one morning feeling exhausted, as if she hadn't slept at all. Her limbs were heavy, and her skin, though still flawless, felt tight, almost like it was stretched too perfectly over her bones. She dismissed it as stress. Too many late-night events, too many brand deals. But as she got out of bed, a sharp itch crawled up her arm. She scratched absent-mindedly, then froze. A small piece of her skin peeled away, not like a normal flake or dry patch. No, this was something else. A thin, translucent layer had come off, revealing more perfect skin underneath. Adriana blinked. What is happening? She rushed to the mirror, inspecting her face. Still stunning, still glowing. But when she touched her cheek, the skin felt wrong, almost synthetic. A wave of dizziness hit her. She took a deep breath and reached for her phone. As long as she still looked beautiful, nothing else mattered. Her followers were growing. Her contracts were getting bigger. She was untouchable. But later that day, as she met Nana for lunch, she caught her best friend staring. "What?" Adriana asked, raising a perfectly sculpted brow. Nana hesitated. "You look different." Adriana forced a laugh. "Of course I do. It's called being successful." Nana didn't smile. "No, I mean your skin. It looks too smooth." Adriana's stomach twisted, but she kept her face neutral. "You're overthinking." Nana leaned closer, eyes narrowing. "When was the last time you didn't use that cream you said you bought?" Adriana pulled back. "What does that have to do with anything?" Nana exhaled, frustration creeping into her voice. "I'm just saying, maybe stop using it for a while. See what happens. Besides, you don't know the make of that thing." Adriana scoffed. "You really sound like that old woman." Nana frowned. "What old woman?" Adriana shook her head, forcing a smile. "Forget it." But as she walked away, doubt gnawed at her. That night, when she applied the cream again, it felt colder than usual. The sensation of the cream's coldness lingered long after she applied it, sinking deep into her bones. Her skin still looked perfect, but something about it felt off. She tossed and turned, feeling feverish, yet when she touched her forehead, it was ice cold. Every time she drifted into sleep, a strange whisper echoed in her mind. Beauty has a cost. She woke up with a gasp, chest rising and falling rapidly. The first thing she did was rush to the mirror. Her reflection was still there, still breathtaking, but her eyes, they looked hollow, tired. There was a tightness around her mouth, as if her skin was pulling too hard against her face. She ran her hands down her arms. That strange itching was back. With growing unease, she scratched, and this time she watched in horror as a larger piece of skin peeled away. A small, nearly translucent strip dangled from her fingertips. Her breath hitched. Beneath the peeled layer, her skin was even more flawless, but it felt thinner, fragile, like something was being stripped away. Panic clawed at her throat, but she swallowed it down. Maybe it was just dry skin. Maybe she just needed more hydration. Maybe a sharp knock at the door made her jump. "Adriana, are you in there?" It was Nana. Adriana hesitated, then grabbed a silk robe and opened the door. Nana's eyes widened the second she saw her. "What?" Adriana snapped, suddenly self-conscious. Nana hesitated. "You don't see it?" Adriana's stomach twisted. "See what?" Nana stepped closer. "Your face. It's too smooth. It doesn't even move when you talk." Adriana's heart pounded. She turned and ran to the mirror, staring at herself. She tried frowning, smiling, raising an eyebrow. Her skin didn't move. It was stiff, like a mask stretched too tightly over her bones. "No," she whispered. Nana touched her arm. "Adriana, whatever that cream is, you need to stop this madness right now, or this will cost you more than the beauty you are longing for." Adriana yanked her arm away. "You're just jealous," she snapped. Nana flinched. "Jealous? Yes. You and everyone else. You all wish you looked like me. That's why you're trying to scare me. This would eventually go away, so it's not a big deal." Nana's face fell. Adriana, listen to yourself. I'm not your enemy, and I won't jealous you as my friend you are. I amend. Just giving you an advice that what you are doing, that you are literally taking it too far. Adriana shook her head, stepping back. If Nana didn't believe in her, she didn't need her. She slammed the door in Nana's face. But as soon as she turned back to the mirror, her breath caught in her throat. A deep wrinkle had formed across her forehead, but it hasn't been noticeable yet. The next day, Adriana arrived at a high-profile photo shoot. She forced herself to smile, to act normal, but she could feel the stares. Her makeup artist hesitated as she brushed foundation over her skin. Adriana, is your skin okay? Adriana clenched her jaw. Why wouldn't it be? The makeup artist didn't answer. Instead, she gently pressed a beauty sponge against Adriana's cheek. The moment she pulled it away, a thin layer of Adriana's skin came off with it. The makeup artist screamed. Adriana snatched the sponge from her hands. Her heart stopped. A flesh-colored film sat on top of it. She bolted to the mirror, her breathing ragged. Her skin looked raw. Underneath the layers she had been shedding, something was wrong. It wasn't her usual flawless complexion. It looked too smooth, too polished, like synthetic porcelain. She clutched her face, panic rising. The photographer stepped forward. Maybe we should reschedule. No, Adriana snapped, her voice too loud, too sharp. I just need a second, that's all. She stormed off to the bathroom, slamming the door shut. She looked at the mirror. Her hands were shaking as she pulled out the golden jar. Her instincts screamed at her to stop, to throw it away, to wash her face, and another pushed her to apply it the more. But she only hears what wanted to hear. She needed to look perfect. With trembling fingers, she smeared the cream onto her skin. For a moment, relief washed over her. The raw, peeling skin soothed instantly. Her beauty was restored. She exhaled, gripping the counter. It's fine, everything is fine. But as she looked back into the mirror, she saw it. A thin crack running down her cheek, like porcelain beginning to break. Days passed. The crack spread. Her skin no longer felt real. It felt like glass, like plastic, like something unnatural. She barely ate. She barely slept. The whispers in her head grew louder. Beauty has a cost. At an exclusive gala, her worst nightmare came true, as it were, all where everything changed. She was surrounded by celebrities, cameras flashing, people complimenting her beauty. She forced a smile, trying to ignore the burning sensation beneath her skin, so such is the price she paid for beauty. Then, someone whispered, "She looks off." The room tilted. Adriana felt lightheaded. Her skin itched, she reached up and scratched. And then her cheeks split open. A sharp gasp rippled through the crowd. Adriana froze, horror gripping her as she felt a chunk of her face detach. It peeled away in her hand, not like normal skin. No, this can't be happening to me, not now. Adriana terrified. She started to look like rotting wax, like a mannequin melting and in the heat. Screams erupted around her. Someone dropped their glass. The sound of shattering echoed in the silence. Adriana clutched her face, but it was falling apart. Her lips sagged, her nose collapsed, her eyes widened in horror as her reflection appeared in a camera lens. She looked like a decaying doll. She stumbled back, knocking over a table. The crowd backed away in terror. Someone whispered, "Oh my God, she looks like a monster." Tears welled in her eyes. She turned and ran in disgrace. Ran through the stunned, horrified crowd. Ran past flashing cameras. Ran away from the life she had built. The life that was now in ruins. Desperation drove her back to the shop with no name, where it all began. She barged in, breathless, her once beautiful face now a grotesque ruin as she covered her face with a scarf. "Help me," she sobbed. The old woman was waiting. She gazed at Adriana with knowing eyes. "You wanted more than what was yours, and I remembered that I warned, but I guess you made your choice." Adriana collapsed to her knees. "Please, I'll do anything." The woman stepped forward, tilting her head. "But child, there is nothing left to save. This is your penance and the cost of beauty." Adriana let out a strangled sob, clawing at her ruined skin. No. The woman leaned in, whispering, "Now you have seen firsthand what obsessive ambition has cost you, when you knew you were enough, but you wanted, and I can't change what you have become." And with that, the last layer of Adriana's face crumbled into dust. Her face, her beauty was all gone. She let out a blood-curdling scream. Adriana screamed as she was in pain and in sorrow. I should have listened to my best friend, and now I have doomed myself because I was not enough. She cried all through the night. With time, Adriana started losing her followers, her dreams, her deals, and endorsements she had been given, even her modeling work, as she is no fit to be won in her terrifying condition. She lost is all. Even whispers spread that she made a deal with the devil to grant her beauty. She might have done a plastic surgery and a lot of stuffs people imagined, but only Nana knew the truth. Nana never abandoned her. She cared for, but all her life, Adriana regretted her mistakes and realized that no matter what, stay true to yourself. Don't change a thing about how you are created, because you are perfect the way you are made. Don't allow the obese of beauty to cost you more than what you never bargained for. And don't be an instrument of that which will ruin your entire life. Dear viewers, what do you think about this story? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and share it with friends. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks, and see you in the next video. Bye!